You made it to the last one. I mean, there's only 3 videos, but you made it, and I'm so glad you're here. And hopefully you've thought about how you are going to start your group, how you're going to begin to lead that group, and now we're talking about multiplying your group. How do you get people to reproduce after you've been spending 21 weeks with them, right? I mean, this is a challenging task. And quite honestly, one of the things I've heard one time or another is that healthy things do multiply and things that are dead don't. And I know you kind of hear that and you go, well, of course, Cameron, but one of the things I want to think about is that when you see your group and for some reason it's not reproducing, that means that there's just something that's a little unhealthy. That doesn't mean that it's bad or you didn't do a good job or no one really learned, but it just means that it's not, someone hasn't been fully developed, right? That they're still trying to wrestle through, work through some things. And so when your group's not reproducing, don't see it as a failure on your end. Because remember, this is a spiritual work, and that's why we've got to pray. We got to be dependent upon the Spirit because this is a spiritual work within that person's life. And so when we're asking people to reproduce, we really want to walk with them. We want to help them understand what does it mean to really reproduce, to multiply their life. You know, multiplication was a big deal to Jesus, right? Think about it. He started investing his life into 12 men. That 12 men led him to 72. Later, that was known as a multiplying church throughout the book of Acts. In fact, the teachings of Jesus was filling Jerusalem. It says in Acts 5:28, and within 4.5 years, that there then began to be these churches that were multiplying, and they were turning the world upside down. And within 28 years, the gospel spread all over the world, according to Colossians chapter 1, verses 5 through 6. Multiplication is a big deal. Jesus saw it as a priority, and it should be a big deal to us. We should make it our aim for when we are meeting with our people, when we're talking with our people, we should always be casting vision and always laying before them this idea that we are to reproduce. We are to take what we're learning and then begin to give it to those that we're investing our life in. So what are some practices you can begin to do to help begin to reproduce your group? Well, number one is stress the expectation. From the beginning, from day one, in Walk with God, week 1, day 1, right, you need to be stressing the importance of multiplication, right? It needs to be common language. It needs to be something that is understood from the beginning, right? You may say something like this: I'm spending time investing in you because it's what God wants you to reproduce into others, right? Just as I'm doing this for you, I want you to also be doing for others. This is what God has called us to, right? Some other ways you could be doing that is thinking about as you're talking with them. Think about how you can communicate and say, hey, as you are learning, make sure you're taking notes and taking highlights because at some point later, you're going to be doing this for someone else. Another thing to be thinking about is just, man, how are you continuing to talk about how they're going to take this later and begin to teach it to other people? I think our culture has just been trained to consume and to consume and to consume, right? We think about Bible studies, we're to consume them. We go to worship services, we consume them. But we have to move our people to becoming contributors, to engage in the mission, and we have to make it known to them. We need them to see it as a privilege, as an obligation, and really to help them see it as a wonder to go, man, what could God do with me, right? What could God do through my hands and feet as I invest my life? A second practice is to remind them again and again, right? We got to remind them over and over. Like I was saying earlier, hey, highlight this, run on this. Hey, if you were to teach this later to someone else, here's how you would say that, right? Doing these types of statements and calling them to do these types of things helps them go, oh, snap. Yeah, I remember. I'm going to be investing my life into someone. I'm going to be reproducing this. I need to take notes. I need to highlight. Oh, that was a great way Cameron said that, or that's a great way that person said that. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Reminding them to do that often helps kind of reiterate in their mind, oh my gosh, okay, I'm not just here to consume, but at some point I'm going to have to then turn around and do this. So those are some cool ways to just think about how to remind them just every week, just by simply saying, hey, highlight this, underline this. Hey, if you're to teach this, here's how you would teach this. A reminder that when you're going to go through your group, that you would want to highlight this, or this is an important thing to cover. All those are tools that are slowly instilling in their minds, okay, hey, I'm going to be doing this later. Another one is to, and really is our last one, is to not move on too quickly. Don't move on too quickly. One of the great temptations of leading a grow group is to begin to then see that, okay, hey, some people are not reproducing, so I'm just going to kind of leave them and just kind of move on and go start another group, right? Don't do that. Stay with them for a little bit. I know sometimes what happens when you launch a Grow group, you feel like, oh, I'm done, I'm finished, right? You kind of see it as a curriculum. We've done the 21 weeks, we're going to move on. But don't do that. This is a way to invest into someone and to see them all the way through to the end. So if you have someone who's struggling to multiply and to reproduce and to go start their own group, walk with them for a little bit. Help them walk through the barriers and the challenges they're facing that's preventing them from reproducing, from multiplying their life. Stay with them, work through them, and go, okay, man, how can we help you here? Maybe you pair them with another disciple maker to where they can co-lead a group together. Or maybe you invite that person to come along with you to launch your next group. Those are both really great ways to help maybe build some confidence as they're still trying to learn what it looks like to reproduce and multiply their life. Now, there does come a point, right, where you've been walking with someone for some time and, man, they still are not reproducing, they're not multiplying, they're still resistant. Then it may be time to go ahead and just kind of begin to back off a little bit, but don't ditch them, right? This is not a project, this is a person. So stay in touch with that person, but maybe it's time to just kind of leave them alone and stop pushing on them because sometimes just a little bit of distance allows the Spirit to move in their life a little bit, and then they'll come back and go, hey, I think I'm ready to do this. I've seen that so many times in my own Grow groups where I'm like, man, I've been asking a guy to reproduce over and over and over, and I'm like hammering it into him. And then I go, okay, I'm going to back off. And I'm just going to spend time praying for that person. I'm still going to meet periodically, check in with them, catch up with them. And then God begins to work in their heart, and they come back and they're like, hey, I'm ready to multiply. But I think there's something important here to really highlight is that if the first time that they are leading is when you're asking them to multiply, then there's no wonder why your group's not reproducing, right? You have to give them opportunities to lead from the beginning. Right, this may not be week 1, 2, or 3, but this may be week 4, week 5, week 6 of book 1, where you may turn around and say, okay, hey, I've been leading this for a while, and next week, Jimmy, you're up. You're going to lead it. So I want you to prepare just like you've seen me doing it the last couple of weeks, and you're going to lead it through the group. Or, hey, John, I want you to lead this section next week when we're doing our group time. And giving people small little, remember, this is commitments. One little commitment leads to bigger commitments. One little piece of ownership leads to bigger pieces of ownership. You're faithful with little, you're faithful with much, right? Sound familiar? So as you're giving people some ways to engage with the material and leading it, it gives them a confidence boost. It allows the Spirit to instill in them a vision of what it looks like to lead a Grow group. And if you're doing that from the beginning, then when you get to the end, you're more than likely going to see someone reproduce because they've been doing it. This is not the first time they've seen this. It's not the first time they're doing this. So just think about that. How are you giving people bits and pieces of opportunity to lead all the way to, leading to the end of your Grow group? And if you can remember, when you get to book 3, there really is this question that Craig leads us with. Will you consume or will you invest? And that's the question we have to come back to. That's the question we have to come back to with our disciples. Are you going to consume or will you invest? Are you willing to continue to sacrifice and to suffer to do the work that Christ has called us to do? Because every once in a while, every one of us wants to get to the point where we throw in the towel and we give up and we don't have enough time and I'm just going to take a break for a season. It's only going to be, a few months, a year. And then before we know it, we have completely backed off the pedal of making disciples. Don't do that. Stay in the fight. Do what it takes to continue the mission, to continue the movement that Jesus has started. And he's invited you, he's invited me, and he's invited the people that you're investing your life in to continue this movement. So continue on. Make the sacrifices that you got to make in order to invest your life into others because there's no greater cause to be a part of. So, hey, thank you for being a part of this. Know that as a staff, we are praying for you. We want to see you be successful, and we want to see Jesus' mission and his movement carried on for all generations. So, hey, thanks for coming along with this journey, and I hope that your Grow group is a fruitful one.